turn off the lights, get the popcorn, get ready for some scares. Settle into a short horror story marathon.
His experiment went horribly wrong, leaving him cursed to roam the dark forest in search of victims to fill his craving for flesh and blood. As the legend goes, the origin of the Maryland Goat Man starts at an agricultural research facility located in the Baltimore, Maryland suburbs. A deranged research scientist at this facility was conducting DNA fusion experiments. He aimed to fuse human and goat genes. The end result was horrific. The scientist transformed himself into a violent, psychotic half-man, half-goat creature with an insatiable thirst for blood. Some accounts say the Goat Man creature ran out of the facility and terrorized staff on the grounds before darting off into the nearby woods. This facility denies all accounts of this incident. But would they admit to allowing DNA fusion experiments involving humans and animals? The first claims of public sightings of the Goat Man in Maryland date to the late 1950s. He was first spotted in wooded areas near Forestville in Upper Marlboro. He is said to be a 6-foot-tall creature covered in fur and standing upright like a man, but has a goat's head with horns. It's also said that he has a horrible odor that can be detected when he is near. Other reports place the Goat Man on Fletcherstown Road in Bowie, Maryland, where he was said to jump onto cars and attack drivers. Many claim to have seen him wielding an axe. On one account, a young couple was parked on Fletcherstown Road to make out, and they heard a strange noise in the woods. The young man supposedly went into the woods, but never returned. A day later, his severed head was hanging on a tree where the lovers had parked, yet his body was not found. Many claim that the Goat Man attacked and killed local dogs for food. In one such account, a family dog went missing. Like the young man on Fletcher's Road, only the dog's head was found. The Goat Man was blamed for this gruesome attack since a group of teenage girls heard strange howls from the woods the night before the dog was found. There are also tales of the Goat Man attacking a group of hikers with an axe, hacking them into pieces while emitting a horrible demonic scream. Another location where the Goat Man has been spotted is Governor's Bridge, also known as Crybaby Bridge. This bridge is so named since people claim the cries of an infant can be heard coming from under the bridge at night. It is believed that the ghost of a baby who died under the bridge haunts it. When this bridge was open, it was said that if you parked your car on the bridge just as the sun sets, you will hear, and possibly see, the bloodthirsty Goat Man. Governor's Bridge is now abandoned, and the road to access it is barricaded. It's a popular location for urban explorers, and signs of those seeking the Goat Man are present. Let us know in the comments if you've ever visited the woods near Fletcher's Road at night, or better yet, the now abandoned Crybaby Bridge. More importantly, share your stories about sighting the terrifying Goat Man of Maryland.
footage was found by police at an abandoned office complex in a remote area of New York State. The woman seen in the video, Nancy Gale, who is now a missing person, was reportedly heading to a doctor's appointment. Nancy's family says she was having issues with her previous doctor and found a new one on an online medical forum. A forum post about a recently opened doctor's office in the area sparked Nancy's attention. Nancy's daughter spoke to her right before her appointment, which would be the last time anyone ever heard from her. After 5 hours of not returning home from her appointment, Nancy's daughter placed a 911 call to report her mother is missing.
Hey, I'm on my way to the appointment. Can I give you a call when it's over? I'd say about 30 minutes. Okay, sure. Bye. Talk to you then. Hello? Hello? Is there someone there? The elevator seems to be stuck. It's not moving and the doors won't open.
I know.
Okay, great. I'm so happy to hear somebody. Well, can you please get someone to get me out of here? I have an appointment and I'm going to be late.
I know. I'm waiting for you.
Oh, so you're with the doctor's office.
No, but I'm waiting for you. Come to the 3rd floor.
But my appointment's on the 9th floor.
I know. Just come to the 3rd floor. I'm waiting.
Okay, look, this is getting really weird. Just get me out of here.
The elevator will start now. When you get to the 3rd floor, come and visit. I'm waiting.
Oh. Thank you, the elevator started again. Thank you. Hello? Hello? Is there anybody here? Come on, what's going on? Hello? You asked me to come to the 3rd floor. Is there anybody here? Oh my God, what is going on? What are you doing? What?
This one is starting to drain out. Let's get one more batch from him. Hopefully this new feeder will last longer. Iva said as she opened the draining tube. Let's get upstairs, she'll be here any minute. Jessica needed the extra cash to pay rent. These part-time babysitting jobs paid well and helped out. This job was located at the end of the B7 bus line. It was a large Victorian home set on a large lot away from the road. Jessica was certain it was abandoned just a few weeks ago. Guess I was wrong, she thought to herself as she walked up the long walkway to the house. She still thought the house looked a bit creepy, even though she now knew it was inhabited. Being 24 and on her own and new in this small Midwest town was a challenge for Jessica. She didn't have any family nearby, and she really didn't know many people in the town yet. Her daytime job at a local thrift store wasn't providing enough money to cover her expenses beyond rent. So she relied on nighttime and weekend babysitting jobs to supplement her income to cover groceries and other expenses. As Jessica almost reached the house, she saw the front door open and 2 people appear. It was a man and a woman. This must be the parents, Jessica thought to herself. As Jessica got closer, she noticed that the couple was stylishly dressed and groomed in a manner that was out of place in this small rural town. With her long, flowing, flowery dress, she didn't know what to make of this goth-style couple living in a large lot near farmland. Maybe they are going to a costume party. she thought. The woman on the porch extended both of her hands to cup Jessica's right hand. "Hello, Jessica. I'm Iva, and this is my husband, Gregor," the woman said with a wide yet closed lip smile. "We've been truly looking forward to meeting you," Gregor said as he too extended both hands. As he cupped her hand, Jessica thought he massaged the inside of her wrist with his fingers. "Okay, that's weird," she thought. "Please come inside," Iva said. The front door opened to a living room that was dark and musty. Jessica could swear that the furniture looked like it had been in the room for 40 years. Dimly lit stained glass lamps lit the room, and the wooden furniture looked handcrafted and vintage. Working in the thrift store trained Jessica to identify genuine period pieces and antiques. "Welcome to our home," Gregor said. "It's a bit of a work in progress, but we're coming along." "But we just moved in a month ago," Iva offered. "Taking care of our son Lucian is an easy job," Gregor said. "All you have to do is sit down here in the living room and watch the baby monitor. There's no need to even go up in his room. We will only be out for about 2 hours. "Here's the monitor," Iva said as she handed a baby monitor to Jessica. "Lucian is 13 months old. He's been fed and we just changed his diaper. He's fast asleep and should stay asleep for several hours." "As Gregor said, you really just need to hang out here and make sure the house doesn't burn down," Iva said and giggled again with the strange closed lip smile. "Oh, and we have one small request," she said now with almost a stern gaze into Jessica's eyes. "Please don't open the fridge and please do not go into the basement. And as we said, there's no need to go into Lucian's room. He's fine, and you are likely to wake him if you enter his room." "Okay, dear, I'm sure Jessica has everything covered," Gregor said as he placed his arm on his wife's shoulders. "She worries so much about everything," Gregor said and then winked at Jessica. He urged his wife towards the front door. "Wait," Jessica called out. "Don't you want to give me your cell phone numbers in case I need to contact you?" Iva turned with a slight smile and almost squinted eyes. "Oh, honey, we don't have cell phones. Now who is worrying too much, Gregor?" "You'll be fine," Gregor said, looking over his shoulder as he walked out the door and winked again at Jessica. Jessica watched as the couple walked out onto the porch and closed the door behind them. "They are super weird," she exclaimed out loud to herself. Jessica walked around a bit to check out the downstairs. She located the kitchen. She also located a door in the hall close to the living room. She believed it was the basement door. "Don't go in the basement and don't open the fridge," she murmured. "Again, that's weird." Jessica looked down at the baby monitor. "I'm not even supposed to check in on the kid I'm watching?" she said with a chuckle. "And that is super weird." Just then, she heard a strange noise coming from the monitor. She could swear it was growling. The baby turned a bit, but it wasn't crying and seemed to fall back to sleep. Jessica headed back to the living room to take a seat on one of the musty couches. She felt like she was sitting in an early 1900s museum. There was no sign of modern technology, and the place was worn and dusty. Did they just move into an abandoned house? She heard the strange growling from the monitor again. "I wonder if the kid has a cold. Or maybe it's a dog," she laughed. Jessica had nothing else to do but stare at her phone. Before she knew it, 30 minutes had passed. She was thirsty and decided to go into the kitchen to get a glass of water. While deep in the middle of a comment thread on a social media post, Jessica walked into the kitchen, head down into her phone, and she opened the refrigerator door. Jessica looked up from her phone and realized what she had done. But then she directed her attention to what she saw ahead of her. The fridge had glass bottles filled with a thick red liquid, and plates full of organ meats such as liver as well as bunches of spinach. It was then that Jessica heard faint cries coming from the direction of the living room. She ran out into the living room. No one was there. The growling from the baby monitor was now very loud, and the cries sounded like they were coming from what Jessica believed was the basement door. I think these sickos have people in the basement. She opened the basement door. Is anyone down there? Hey, do you need help? Where are you? Jessica cried out. Jessica used the light from her phone to navigate down the old wooden stairway into the darkness. The crying got louder as she got to the bottom of the stairs. She turned to the left and saw a utility sink full of blood and tubes. Next to the sink was a door. She heard the cries coming from behind it. She also saw 2 doors next to that door. Jessica opened the first door. She was horrified at what she saw. There were people tied to chairs with sacks on their heads. They had tubes inserted in them and draining into collection bags. They looked like blood collection bags. "Help us," they cried out. Then Jessica felt a stinging pinch in her arm. She felt woozy and all went dark. Jessica could barely lift her head and her vision was blurred. "Look who's up bright and early," Jessica heard. It was Iva. "You're our new guest in room 3, Gregor said. "Have you met the plumber and the cleaning ladies yet?" He chuckled and then winked. "We hope you like our spinach and liver smoothies. They're full of iron," Iva said with a now wide-open mouth smile to reveal large fangs. "And the sleeping medicine in your blood helps our little Lucian get enough sleepy time while Mommy and Daddy are out." "Don't mind us," Gregor said. "We're just here to collect a snack. And to help our guest get rest, we are happy to provide these sleeping hoods. Nighty-night, Jessica."
Hi, Grandpa. It's me, Casey. I'm so thankful you gave me this house. I'm staying here tonight. I'm gonna sleep up in the bedroom where I always slept. I miss you so much. I remember you told me when I was little, you used to say that if you miss someone and you want to see them, just knock 3 times. I'm gonna try that tonight with you, Grandpa, before I go to bed. Okay? Can you just give me some sign that you're here? I'm gonna give it a try. Are you there, Grandpa? Maybe I'll get some of your favorite things that I remember from when we were little. I put out the ceramic puppy I made for you when I was a kid, Grandpa. I just found it on your mantle. And I found the box where you always kept your cigars. I used to love the smell of your cigars. Anyway, maybe this will help me connect with you. I'm gonna knock again. I'm gonna knock 3 times. Grandpa? Grandpa, was that you? Grandpa, that was pretty loud. Are you here in the room? Grandpa. I'm a little scared. Are you behind me? I'm gonna go turn on a light. I'll be right back.
What was that? Hello? Who's there? Hello? Cheshire, did you see anything? Did you see anyone, Cheshire? Hello? Hello?
Laura McGuire had always been beautiful. It was the quality she valued most over everything else in her life, including her personal relationships with others. She obsessed over staying youthful and spent thousands of dollars on anti-aging lotions and creams. The day she turned 40, she panicked. She thought she saw a crease under her right eye. She knew she had to find a solution. She knew exactly where she needed to look. In various online beauty product-related forums, she had heard about a miracle cream that was only sold on the dark web. People raved about its results, but also warned about its source, an online occult site. That afternoon, Laura located the website on the dark web. It was called Miracle Source, and it offered various spells, potions, and cures. She located the cream she had heard about. The cream description promised that it would repair skin conditions and scarring. It came with a heavy warning. This cream should be used only by those needing to correct skin conditions. It should not be used by those without skin conditions, as serious side effects may result. Laura paused and said to herself, "Well, I have a skin condition and it's called aging." She then placed her order for the cream. Laura woke up the next day to find a package at her doorstep. It was the cream she had ordered the day before. She immediately went to her vanity and applied the cream, again ignoring the warnings on the packaging about it being intended for use only by those with skin conditions and scarring. That night, Laura had haunting dreams where she saw herself aging. Trying to shake off the night, Laura walked into her bathroom to splash cold water on her face. She looked in the mirror in horror. Her entire face and neck were covered in small holes. Next time, Laura, you just might want to take those fine print warnings a bit more seriously.
The cradle rocked for days on its own. There was no motor. There was no visible person rocking it. But was someone or something rocking it? In Lynchburg, Virginia, the house at 1104 Jackson Street is known by locals to have a frightening history. They refer to it as the Rocking Cradle House. The original house dates to 1819, but it has undergone a few renovations and additions since then. In 1937, a woman with the Works Progress Administration by the name of Susan R. Beardsworth interviewed Trueheart Poston, who was the son of the owner at the time. Poston revealed that a ghost of an angry Civil War major haunted the home, causing doors and latches to open on their own. Poston also relayed that a tenant of the house saw a woman dressed in old-fashioned attire standing at the top of the stairs. Yet no such woman resided in the house. Poston also explained that sounds of a body falling out of an upstairs window had also been heard, yet without any signs or explanation. The most eerie supernatural occurrence at 1104 Jackson Street, however, involved a baby's cradle. It is this inexplicable and unsettling series of events that gained the property its namesake of the Rocking Cradle House. Ms. Beardsworth's report reveals that in 1834, a Reverend William Smith rented the home with his wife Laura and baby. They appeared to also have a live-in nanny. Reverend Smith came home to the nanny in hysteria. The cradle that held his baby had been rocking on its own for hours. As the account goes, Reverend Smith ordered the cradle to stop rocking in the name of Beelzebub, which is a nickname for the devil. Upon this command, the cradle stopped rocking. In what appeared to be an effort to determine the cause of the rocking, Smith ordered Beelzebub to rock the cradle again. Thereafter, the cradle started rocking again. Neighbors and friends stopped by to witness the disturbing occurrence. Local members of the Methodist Church were also reported to have visited the cradle in an effort to determine the cause of the rocking. They moved the crib to different rooms of the house to see if that would cease the rocking, but it did not. After a month of rocking, the cradle suddenly stopped and remained still. However, Tragedy followed the Smith family after this incident at 1104 Jackson Street. The Smiths' baby girl who rocked in the cradle died as a young child. A few years later, Laura Smith then gave birth to another daughter, who also died as a young child. It appears that Laura Smith also died soon after the birth of this child. The cradle is now housed in the basement of the Lynchburg Museum located at 901 Court Street. It's encased behind a glass wall, similar to the way Robert the Doll is displayed at the Fort East Martello Museum in Key West, Florida. The museum is protecting the cradle since it's an antique, but perhaps the museum is also taking measures to protect visitors from the cradle. The Lynchburg Museum openly provides information on its website and in its museum about the history of the rocking cradle house and the haunted cradle. So, fellow horror fans, if you're in Southern Virginia, you might just want to stop by Lynchburg and take a look for yourself.
You may think the backrooms don't exist. I used to think that too. Until the night I no-clipped out of our reality and entered the backrooms. I'm one of the lucky ones who escaped. I graduated from college and was about to enter grad school. My parents paid for my college and apartment until I graduated. But moving forward in grad school, they asked me to cover all of my expenses. I had a part-time day job waiting tables for the summer to save up money and meet my living expenses. But I wanted some extra money for the fall. I spotted an ad for a part-time night guard at a near-empty office building in an industrial park at the edge of town. It was a 10-story, 80s-looking commercial office building with only a few rented spaces on the 3rd, 5th, and 7th floors. I applied, and to my surprise, received a call within 30 minutes of submitting my application online.
Hello,
said the deep voice.
Is this Ryan Nielsen?
Yes, I replied.
I'm calling about your application for the night guard position.
Thanks for calling, I replied.
Are you able to come over for an interview in 1 hour?
Asked the voice, which still offered no name. It was my day off, and I had nothing going on, so I replied, sure.
Come to the lobby of the building in 1 hour.
Friendly guy, I thought to myself. I finished my breakfast and headed out the door. It was a Monday, and despite being the first day of the work week, the industrial park looked dead. Hardly any cars were there. Hardly any people. I pulled up to the building. It was a large, square box-like structure with almost small vertical rectangular slits for windows. You know, the kind they use in high-rise jails. I pulled right up to the entrance of the building, and parking was a breeze. No other car was in the parking lot. Not a single one. I went to the front entrance to the building and the doors were locked. I went to call the guy who invited me for an interview, but I saw a text from him. It read, "Sorry, Ryan, but I have an emergency that requires me to leave. The entrance code to the building is 5687, then hit pound. Just enter the building and go to the reception desk. I've left some things for you there. I will be in touch in a few minutes." So I came for an interview. The guy didn't really know me, and yet he gave me the code to the building. This should have been my first warning sign. I entered the code and the door unlocked. There was no one at the reception desk. There was no one anywhere. I walked over to the reception desk, and on it was a strange-looking cell phone on a stand, along with a piece of paper and an envelope. The paper read, "Ryan, again I apologize about having to leave. We've reviewed your application and your background check matches perfectly for the job. We need you every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday night from 11 p.m. to 7 a.m. The pay is $50 per hour. We also have left a signing bonus for you in the envelope next to this note. We'd love for you to start tonight. Text me if you accept our offer. If you don't accept, please leave the envelope on the desk. If you do accept, I will text you some additional instructions. It's a very easy job, and I can catch you up on protocol in no time. I looked in the envelope, and there were 10 $100 bills. My mind started calculating. A $1,000 signing bonus, and essentially $1,200 a week. This was way more than I was making in an entire month at my restaurant job, and this should have been my second warning sign. I waited a few minutes to not seem too desperate, but soon I texted, "Yes, I am happy to start the job tonight." "Excellent," read the reply text. Then more texts came. "Come back tonight and we will text you a new entrance code. For security reasons, we need to text you a new entrance code every time you arrive for your shift. When you arrive, go to the door near the elevators. That's the security office. In there you will find instructions for the job." I arrived back to the building at 6:50 p.m. I texted the number, "I'm here if you want to send me the new code." A reply text came immediately thereafter, as if it was a bot reply. It read, "The code is 666*, then hit pound. As instructed, enter the door next to the elevators in the lobby. That's the security office, and we left instructions for you there on the desk." Are they messing with me? I said out loud to myself. 666*, seriously? I entered the code and the front door opened. I entered the door to the security office. It was a dark and windowless room. The furniture looked old. It had shelves of musty books and things. There was a single desktop PC monitor. I found it beyond strange that they had picture frames on the wall with blank pieces of paper inside. This whole scenario seemed off. I should have trusted my instincts then, but I really needed the money. I saw a typed note on the desk. "Ryan, the computer monitor is connected to security cameras throughout the building. Turn on the monitor and you will see that the screen will cycle with views of the various cameras on each floor. Keep your eye on these to make sure we don't have anyone wandering around the building other than our few current tenants. Your primary focus, however, should be on a certain door in the basement. This can only be viewed using the camera connected to the cell phone on the reception desk. After reading this note, go retrieve that cell phone. Replace it on its stand when you leave in the morning. Each time you arrive for your shift, take the phone with you to the security office. It will be fully charged each night that you arrive. On the top of every hour, visit each of the floors to do a walk-through to check for anyone walking the halls. This means that your first walk-through will be at midnight, then the next at 1 a.m. and so forth. Take the cell phone with you during that time and keep monitoring the door in the basement. This door should never be opened, and you should never open it. If you see it opened, go immediately and close it. Do not go through the doorway, no matter what you see or hear. I apologize again that I am not there to meet you, as I am the building manager. As you will soon learn, this is a very easy job, and even a bit boring and uneventful. We rarely have unwanted visitors roaming around, but did have a few Urbex explorers sneak into the building one night a few weeks ago. If you see anyone, don't call the police. Just ask them to leave. Going forward, use the cell phone from the reception desk to text with me. I've opened up a new chat there for us to communicate. When you exit the building each morning at 7 a.m., enter the code you used to come into the building at the start of your shift. This will create a time log for payroll purposes. Please know that if for any reason you leave the building before your shift ends, you will not be able to re-enter the building using the same code, and our payroll department will only pay you for the hours you stayed for that shift. The bathroom is to the right of the security office, and next to that is a break room with a fridge and microwave. As I said, it's a straightforward job, and you should get familiar with the building and routine rather quickly. With that, the note ended. There was no signature or any identification of the author. Strange, I thought. But it sounded like an easy job. Admittedly, I was curious about the door in the basement. I went back out to the reception desk to get the cell phone. I picked it up and noted that it had a video screen displaying a security camera feed of a closed door. This must be that door in the basement, I thought. This was not a type of cell phone that I recognized. What's with the locked door in the basement? I found myself muttering out loud. This is all beyond weird. I checked out the bathroom and the break room. Those all seemed normal. Maybe I was just being too paranoid about things. but my thoughts went back to wondering why it was so important to keep the door in the basement locked. And if it was locked, who would unlock it and open it? I checked the time, and it was 11:30. I had 30 minutes before my first building walkthrough at midnight. I went back to the security office to turn on the desktop monitor. As the note explained, it cycled through cameras located on all floors of the building. Everything looked quiet, so I decided to head to the basement to find the locked door. I entered the elevator and pressed the button for the basement. The basement was what you'd expect in a commercial building. Dark, gray, and musty. I used the cell phone monitor to find the door. That too was what I'd expect in a commercial building basement. A gray metal door, but it was illuminated above with a fluorescent light, and a yellow glow came out from under the door. Naturally, I wanted to know what was behind that door. I turned the handle, and the door was locked. It was almost midnight, so I went back to check the security cameras for the other floors. The monitor cycled through the cameras on the floors. All looked normal, but when it displayed the 6th floor, I noticed something. A dark, shadowy figure was standing in the hall near the elevator doors. I only caught a glimpse because the monitor cycled to the cameras on the other floors. I bolted out of the office towards the elevators. I checked the entirety of the 6th floor, including the bathrooms. I found nothing. All of the office doors were locked, and I did not have keys to enter them. I checked each floor, and again found nothing. I also kept an eye on the basement door, as I was asked. I debated texting about what I saw, but it was already past midnight, and I didn't want to seem incapable of handling the situation. I returned to the security office, but soon it was time for me to do another walkthrough of the building. As before, I kept an eye on the door in the basement using the provided cell phone. I saw nothing unusual for the rest of the night during my walkthroughs. I started to think my mind was playing tricks on me when I thought I saw someone on the 6th floor before. It was 7 a.m. and my shift was up. I returned the cell phone to the stand on the reception desk at the front of the building. Near the stand was an envelope with my name on it. Inside the envelope was $400 and a note. Ryan, here's your first night's pay. We can't thank you enough for your attentiveness and professionalism in performing your job. See you on Wednesday night. So this is now an all-cash pay job. Under the table income like some of my tips for my wait job, I thought. Then it occurred to me that the guy texting me is away due to an emergency, so who left me the money? I was too tired to worry about the details, and I already made $1,400 on my first day on the job. Since I had to wait tables from 3 o'clock to 9 o'clock that day, I left to go home and catch some sleep. After I finished work at the restaurant, I hung out at home to eat dinner and relax to get ready for the night shift the next day. My mind kept focusing on the odd way that I got the job, the high hourly pay in cash, the fact that I didn't see a person yet there, and the door in the basement. I started doing searches for anything I could find about the building. I found one post in an online chat subgroup for urban explorers. It simply read, "We're going into a cool abandoned office building," and then it listed the address for my security job. It was posted by someone with a username of AJKBoy. I searched for this user on social media and found posts about the guy AJKBoy who entered the building with a guy named Trippin' J. The posts were about AJKBoy and Trippin' J not being seen for several days. These posts were all recent. I recall that my boss told me that some urbexers were spotted in the building. I thought it must have been AJKBoy and Trippin' J. My boss never told me what they did when they spotted the trespassers in the building. And of course my thoughts went to the locked door in the basement. Was I working for some secret government program? That would explain the cryptic communications, the security protocols, and non-traceable form of payment to me. I was tired and went to bed to calm my mind from such thoughts. At 6:50 p.m. the following night, I approached the building's outside keypad. At that moment, I received a text on my cell phone that read, "Ryan, tonight's code is 333*, then enter pound." I entered the code and the front door unlocked. I went inside and texted the number. "Hey, I think I saw someone in the building on Monday night." I received no reply text. I walked over to the cell phone on the reception desk, and there was an envelope next to the phone. Inside was $400 and a typed note. Ryan, my assistant had to leave early, so he left your payment for today, and this note he transcribed for me. Enjoy your evening. I checked my cell phone and still had not received a reply text about me seeing someone on the 6th floor hallway on Monday night. I went to the security office to make sure the computer monitor and the camera on the cell phone were working. I took a seat at the desk to keep an eye on these before I took my first building walkthrough at midnight. I did 3 building walkthroughs without noticing anything. All of the floors started running together, and it dawned on me that they all looked exactly the same. Sterile and cold with all of the doors locked. By 2:30 a.m., I was feeling a bit tired and found myself dozing off in the security office chair. I rubbed my eyes and looked up at the monitor. That's when I saw the figure again on the 6th floor. I checked the cell phone monitor and saw that the basement door was closed. I then bolted towards the elevators to get to the 6th floor. As before, I walked the entire 6th floor and found nothing. I then headed to the elevator to check the other floors. That's when I looked down at the cell phone monitor and saw that the door in the basement was open. I entered the dark and musty basement, wondering if I would encounter trespassers. Admittedly, I was scared because I didn't have any means to protect myself. I saw a 2x4 leaning against the wall and grabbed that in case I needed it. Then I heard something.
Help! We're in here! Help! Help us!
It was someone crying out for help, and it was coming from the location of the door. As I approached the door, I heard the voice again.
Please! Please help us!
My boss told me to not enter the door no matter what I heard, but I knew this was those missing guys, and they needed help. I walked through the door with the piece of wood raised, as if I held a baseball bat. As I stepped through the door, I felt a tingle through my entire body, almost as if I received an electric shock. I entered into what looked like an endless hallway with endless doors. The lighting was a sterile, cold yellow. I heard nothing. The voices were silent. "Hello?" I cried out. "Where are you?" There was no reply. I looked around, and behind me was a wall. The door where I entered was gone. I was now surrounded by endless walls, halls, and doorways. My heart raced. I had read urban legends of the back rooms, and I now realized that's where I was. I went to call 911 and saw that my cell phone and the cell phone my boss gave me were dead. I tried to turn on both without success. "Hello?" I shouted again. With no reply, I panicked and started trying to find a way out. I went down the hallway and entered a door only to find another hallway. I raced down there and took a corner, and that's when I saw them. They were dark, shrouded figures with glowing eyes. They looked like the one I kept seeing on the 6th floor security camera. I turned around and took a corner and entered another door. That's when I found the body of one of the missing guys. There was no pulse. I frantically ran down the hall. I saw the body of the other missing guy. Again, he had no pulse. I was in full-blown panic mode. I ran through another door that led to another hall. More of those figures were there. It's then that I heard a voice saying, "Hurry, this way, follow me." I turned around and saw the shadow of a guy. I knew it was the spirit of one of the Urbex guys. He ran down the hall and I followed him. He turned the corner and pointed ahead. There was an open, glowing door. It was the door leading to the building basement. I ran through it and immediately slammed the door shut. I raced down the hallway to the elevator. I grabbed my things from the security office, left the cell phone at the reception desk, and ran out of the front door. It was 4:30 a.m., and I was leaving my shift early, but I didn't care. I drove immediately to the nearest police station and explained everything about the building, my strange night guard job, and the missing Urbex guys. The police doubted my story since they explained that the building has been completely vacant for at least 5 years, and no company exists there. I tried to show them the social media posts about the missing guys, but they were gone, as if someone had deleted them. 2 weeks have passed since that horrible experience. I never heard from the police again, and I'm looking for another part-time job.
Hello?
Hello, Ryan. We paid you for a full 8-hour shift. You left your shift 2.5 hours early. We will see you soon.
Thanks for watching. Like and subscribe for more horror stories.